What we're going to talk about on graphs is the x and y intercept. Now, I believe you have talked about that before in your classes, but just in case, we're going to review what it is. So, open to the first flappy. And on the first flappy, we have a graph. We have x and f at x. What is another way that we can call f at x? Another thing that we call it. Yes, we call it y. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a graph that crosses at certain points here. Are you guys ready? Put a dot here, put a dot here, and put a dot right here. This should be curved like this more. Alright, don't draw that crazy line that I did. Draw the darkened one. So what we're going to do on this flappy is we're going to identify our x and y intercepts. Now, x-intercepts are where it crosses the x-axis. We have two parts where it crosses the x-axis. We have one right here, which is at what? What's that coordinate? Negative 3, 0. And we have one right here, which is what coordinate? 2, 0. And both of these are x-intercepts. Isn't it magic? How many y-intercepts do we have? How many? 1. It crosses the y-axis one time. And what's our y-intercept? 0, negative 2. Take a point. Also, y'all get a point because Michael answered twice on that. Now, the way you write them is you can write them in set notation. You can say x-intercepts at negative 3 and 2. And a y-intercept at negative 2. And you can put brackets around it, and that's called set notation. Could you do that on any graph I gave you and just identify where it crossed the x and y axis?
Yes.
Are you sure? Unless it doesn't have one, and then what would you put? You would put it doesn't have one. None. It's not a trick question. Crinkle some more. Crinkle some more. Alright, next we're going to talk about line of symmetry. Now, what do you think a line of symmetry is?
A symmetrical line?
It is, but what does that mean? It isn't a straight line, it is a symmetrical line, but what does that mean on a graph? What does it do to the graph?
It is the same on both sides.
It is the same on both sides. Good, take a point. So now, I want us to put tickies. We're going to make our own tickies. 1, 2, 3. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. And on our y-axis, we're going to have 2. And on our x-axis, we're going to have negative 2. Alright, so our graph this time, it's going to go from negative 1 to 3. And it's going to look like this. Make sure you put a dot up there at 1 too. We're going to talk about what that dot means in a minute. Are we ready? Do y'all need another moment? Okay.
Writing that x-intercept is one thing. Should we order it?
Lowest to highest. Alright, so the line of symmetry this time is where it cuts it in half. And for this particular thing, it's going to cut it in half where? At +1 on which axis? On the x-axis. So your line of symmetry is at x equals 1. That's all you have to do. Now, do we have any x-intercepts here? We have 2 x-intercepts. And can somebody besides Slytherin name the x-intercepts for me?
No.
Cameron? What, baby? -1 and 3. Good. Take a point. Do we have any y-intercepts? We do. We have 1. It crosses the y-axis. And that looks like it crosses at about 1.5, right? So we would just say 1.5. Questions? Alright, so the line of symmetry cuts the graph in half. Let's make a note that says that. Cuts the graph in half. And it crosses the x-axis, just in case you didn't know that. Crosses the x-axis. Alright, open to the next flappy, positive and negative. So positive means when it's above the x-axis, negative means when it's below the x-axis because it depends on y. So our graph this time is going to be a super fun graph, and it's going to look like this. Okay, so now let's identify the parts that are positive. I'm going to color my positive sections in green. So positive is going to be green for me. And what do y'all want negative to be?
Yellow.
Blue. I heard blue first. Sorry, guys. Negative will be blue. Alright, so positive means that it's above the x-axis. So this part right here, that's positive. Is there another part that's positive? Over here? And then we're going to highlight the negative part, which is down here. How many x-intercepts do we have this time? 3. Yep. You have one right here. You have one at the origin, and then one over here. How many y-intercepts do we have besides Slytherin? And besides Cameron. How many y-intercepts? You do just have one, which is where it crosses at the origin. Are you guys done and you're just coloring now? Okay, that's cool. I just want to know where we're at. Color away, my children. Color away.
You've never told the color.
No, not at all.
It's funny because my brother's always like, no, Sean, you can't keep coloring. You're too old. I'm like, try to learn. And I just showed him this color picture I made.
What, darling? It's what? What's not fair? We do get to color, baby. We color in our notes like every day. I don't know. Well, I'm sorry. You're making an entire city fall down. Did you color all you want? Right. You can color the city all you want. Did you say you're going to make it an Easter city? So you could go get little bunnies at the store and make color your bunnies. So why are you complaining? You were going to what? Paintball. Paintball? Like you're going to shoot your city with paintballs? Let's not do that. Let's not do that. No, stop it. Stop it. All right, so okay, sorry, hold on. My hip hit the thing over here.
I just have flashbacks to the road of El Dorado and you just tell me like, what are y'all doing?
All right, so positive is above the x-axis and negative is where? Below the x-axis. Now, increasing and decreasing, which is our next flappy that we're going to talk about, kind of deals with positive and negative as well. Are we ready, or do we need a mo? A mo? Okay. Yes, it's that one. You need 2 of those. Are we ready now? Connie, what you doing over there? Are you ready now? Okay. Increasing and decreasing. Increasing and decreasing. So, we're going to draw the same graph that we just drew, our little squiggly line. Now, we're going to talk about how we read the graph when we're doing increasing and decreasing. So anytime you have a graph and you're trying to figure out slope, you're trying to figure out whether it's increasing or decreasing, you're trying to figure out anything that happens, always, always, always read the graph from left to the right. Always, always, always read your graph from left to right. So we're going to do increasing in pink this time. And what color do we want for decreasing?
Green.
Green? Okay, I can do that. You want the bright green or the dark green? Bright, okay. Alright, so decreasing is going to be in the bright green. Now, starting from the left side of the graph, over here, do you think this is decreasing or increasing? We go from left to right. So what would it be doing right here? It would be decreasing. So you would go from here to here, right? And it stops right there. So this part of our graph is decreasing because if we were on a skateboard, on the left side of our graph, we would go down the hill really fast, correct? All right, now what about once we hit the bottom? What would we be doing from here up? Increasing up to the top of the hill. And then what would we be doing going back down? Decreasing again. Look at y'all go. So now we're going to learn how to write something in super fun interval notation. We're not going to do interval notation today. We don't have enough time. Just have your tickies for tomorrow. But we do have time for the last thing, relative minimum and relative maximum. So what do you think minimum is? The lowest. And what would the maximum be? So draw the same thing again. So tonight, for your homework, I want you to point out on your graph where you think the minimum is and the maximum is. Have a great day. Make good choices. Be good people. Tomorrow, everybody wear superheroes so we can get donuts.